As you know, the tailgating culture is not any better in the world than it is here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Such an important part of the fabric of the fan base, and they're coming out in droves to watch a different spin on an I-94 rivalry. Not the Cubs, but the White Sox in town to wrap up a series tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. Tonight it's the Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell.
The long wait has ended after a half century. The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
Well, 50 years between major sports titles will keep a market hungry, and Milwaukee has been just that for a winner. They got it this week when the Bucks won the NBA title, and the Brewers are hoping that momentum carries over. Yes, on a first-place team, the Brewers have been very good in 2021, and certainly this weekend they've shown it against another first-place team, as Milwaukee has taken the first two in this three-game series between first-place squads. With Eduardo, Perez, Matt Vasgersian, Buster Olney with us as well. This city is electric right now.
It really is. You know, you have all the euphoria of the Bucks, and now the Milwaukee Brewers where they are, and the tailgating outside. I'm in euphoria right now as well.
We didn't even get a bratwurst today. We'll try to fix that before the end of the night. Hey, there are similarities between the first place White Sox and the first place Brewers. They go beyond just their standing. They have both dominated within their division. Biggest lead in both the American and National Leagues, and they are similar in this regard too. They built that success on terrific starting pitching. 5 of the top 7 ERAs in baseball are here. 2 of them match up tonight. All these guys are all-stars.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Also, you got Brandon Woodruff. You see his name there, but he has been really special. Last year, during COVID, while the teams were out, he was playing catch with his pregnant wife, 5 months pregnant at that. Then after that, has his baby girl in September. Then discovers not only does he love his fastball that he throws at a 62% rate, but he also has a curveball that goes along with it, throwing it at a harder rate and a higher rate, and that part really has taken off for him. Mississippi State wins the national championship, first national championship in the school's history. That's what his alma mater is. He's trying to get his team and far into the playoffs. You have Lance Lynn on the other end. Boy, has he really improved. Not only has he is top in ERA and whip third on opponent's batting average, but what he has done with the stuff that he has, the fastball, he'll throw it in 3 different directions, the cutter, the two-seamer, and the four-seam fastball. It is hard for hitters to barrel it up. That's all he's trying to do, miss barrels.
Boy, in a night like tonight, it'd be rough to have a bat, but Jose Abreu has other thoughts in mind to try to ruin the pitching theme. Tim Anderson saying the same thing. Boo pitching, boo pitching. Christian Yelich looking to get on track in 2021 as well. We are set for a good one. When we come back, starting lineups in the opening pitch, Sox and Brewers coming up next.
3, 2, 1, here I come without warning.
ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell, where tailgating is serious business, and so is this pitching matchup tonight. Just the 6th time in the last 50 seasons where 2 starters with ERAs under 2.05 after the All-Star break match up head-to-head. And with more on the terrific starting pitching assignments, we say good evening to Buster Olney.
Yeah, Matt, there's no doubt about it. These are 2 major Cy Young Award candidates. Lance Lynn leading the American League at 1.94. Brandon Woodruff taking the mound tonight for the Brewers, 2.04. And look, Jacob deGrom is the heavy favorite to win in the National League. But if he's out for an extended period of time, Brandon Woodruff will move into that conversation. Opponent's OPS against him this year, 489. The only pitcher better than that, Jacob deGrom. Matt?
Woodruff has been spectacular. 7-4 this year in his 19 starting assignments. ERA just over 2, as Buster points out. And since the start of the 2019 season, really good here at home.
Yeah, he really is. And again, you have to pick your poison. He throws a fastball at a 62% rate, but he also throws a curveball on the changeup. Look at this 0-0 counter. I'm sorry to pick on Anthony Rizzo here, but he'll throw that curveball right there. Now he's 0-1. He'll throw El Cambio down and away at 86 miles per hour. Then 0-2, he'll elevate with the fastball. guys are just hitting 103 against Woodruff's curveball. That's the 4th lowest in Major League Baseball. It is hard to pick which one he's going to throw, but I'll tell you this, it has velocity and every pitch is effective at any count.
Let's take a look at Tony La Russa's White Sox lineup. White Sox lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Tim Anderson, Gavin Sheets, and Jose Abreu lead it off. Abreu top 3 in all the baseball and hits and extra base hits since his debut in 2014. Moncada, Vaughn, and Goodwin in the middle of the lineup card. Larry Garcia, Sebi Zavala, and Lance Lynn rounded out for a White Sox lineup, Eduardo. It scored a total of 4 runs in their last 3 games.
Yeah, this is what good pitching does to a good lineup. It always can dominate. What the White Sox need is this guy right here to get on base and start creating a little bit of havoc and congestion on the bases for the RBI guys.
2 great starting pitchers in this one, 2 great shortstops in this one of whom is wearing a microphone, and that's Willy Adames of the Brewers. We'll have some fun with Willie as this one gets going, and we are underway in Milwaukee tonight. A ball and no strikes on Tim Anderson to start things out. Hitless in the series so far, and just 2 for his last 17 over the last 4 games. Former AL batting champ, still over 300 for the season. And Woodruff's 1-0 misses in on a 90-degree evening in Milwaukee. Roof open, the place is packed as it was yesterday. First official sellout of the year last night at newly named American Family Field. And it's 2-1 to Anderson, who is taking all the way. These are conditions, Eduardo, and you and I were kind of visiting about this before the game, despite the great starting pitching matchup, from which you don't expect a lot of runs. Roof open, panels open beyond center field. These are hitters' conditions on a night like tonight. Right back to the pitcher. Woodruff has got it. There's one away.
Yeah, this ballpark right now conducive for the hitters. The only problem is what you have on the mound, and what you have on the mound are 2 nasty pitchers. One in Brandon Woodruff, who needs to establish inside, and he did that early right there with Tim Anderson to be able to get the first out of the game.
Yeah, been a while since Sunday Night Baseball has been here. 2013, the last game in this ballpark, and fans, by the way, very aware of that. So is Craig Counsell, who chastised us during our pregame meeting with him earlier. Craig's in his 7th season managing the Brewers, and it's the first time we've been here under his watch. Strike 1 to Gavin Sheets.
Matt, I think he blamed you.
I mean, among other things, he took the blame for that one. 0-1 to Sheets is in for a strike, and it's quickly 0-2. On the other side of the managerial matchup, of course, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa, who has managed more games against the Brewers than he has against any other franchise. Remember, the White Sox and A's, American League teams for so many years in Tony's career, 70s and 80s. It's good stuff. I'm happy to be here myself.
I know, you're giddy. This is welcome back.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Gavin Sheets. Made him chase. So he's throwing the curveball more often, Eduardo. As you talked about when we went on the air, the usage is up and the effectiveness is up.
The effectiveness is up, and again, you start throwing that fastball up in the zone. Hitters now, when they see this release right here, they see the ball up, and then all of a sudden it drops with the hook. It's a pitch that he's used a lot more often now against left-handed hitters to be able to get that swing and miss and different look and velocity.
2 quick outs start the night for him. Here's the 3-time All-Star and still reigning AL MVP, Jose Abreu. What ails the White Sox offense has not been the fault of Abreu. He sits safely in 10 of 12, 18 homers, 75 runs batted in.
First time I laid eyes on him, he was playing for the Cuban national team in the World Cup in Barcelona. And as soon as I saw him, a young 21-year-old, he was so good at the plate, understood how to drive the ball to right center field with authority. I thought at that time, with that loaded roster that had Cespedes and Despagne I thought this was their best hitter.
A ball and a strike. The count to Jose Abreu. And that shorter breaking ball taken for a strike to get Woodruff ahead 1-2. Brandon Woodruff has made 19 starts this year. In only 2 of those was he touched up for more than 2 runs. Counts a ball and 2 strikes.
When you have the stuff like 98 miles per hour, he's missed location twice. He was supposed to go glove side, missed arm side right there. You can get away with it. You see the pitch sequence on the top left, how he's been able to go fastball 3 times in this at bat, misses location. 98, yeah, but against a good hitter like this, don't miss often.
Still the ball and 2 strikes on Jose Abreu. 2 gone, bases empty, just underway in Milwaukee tonight. Fouled away once again, still the ball and 2 strikes. Boy, all the numbers for Brandon Woodruff are so good this year, including whip, walks, and hits over innings pitched. And you're talking about being in historic company here. Pedro in 2000, Verlander a couple years ago, Maddox in 95, and then Woodruff. And Abreu fouls that one away, hanging around in a 2-strike count, still 1-2.
Now this is a really good at bat. Saw a couple 2-seamers, a couple 4-seamers, and 2 curveballs. Now what do you come with? Most likely elevates right here to be able to change the eye level on Jose Abreu.
Abreu is one of the few White Sox hitters that can handle 95 plus. Top 5 batting average against that velocity the last 3 years. That one's fouled away.
Matt, it's interesting you say that. I can remember when Abreu signed, folks with other teams were shocked at the number that the White Sox spent on him. And the feeling among a lot of other teams was, you know what, he's got a slow bat. He's someone who's going to be beaten inside. He's not going to be able to get to velocity. But clearly what, and Eduardo, you can back me up on this, what a lot of people didn't understand was how smart he was, his acumen, his understanding of pitchers.
He really does. He understands how he's trying to be set up. And again, he changes his approach depending on the count. You see him right now just trying to fight to stay alive, do anything to get on base.
And Woodruff finally finishes it with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. A couple of strikeouts and a 1-2-3 start to the night for Brandon Woodruff. Strikeouts in the top of the first. It's time for Lance Lynn to show us what he's got tonight. His 18th assignment of the year, 9-3 on the season, an ERA just under 2. Last pitched Monday in game 1 of a doubleheader against the Twins. He's been great this year.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier for hitters. You see that right there. Don't get cross-eyed at home. This is where you have to make up your mind. Is it a 4-seam fastball? Is it a cutter and a sinker? Yes, I'm grouping the cutter in the fastball family because he also groups it and he talks about it. This is how hard it is to hit Lance Lynn. You have to pick your poison. Is it going to cut away? Is it going to stay straight like a 4-seamer? Or is it going to go with a 2-seam drip, as he calls it?
A very left-handed version of Craig Counsell's Brewers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Wong, Yelich, and Adames, who's made such a difference. We'll talk about it. And then of the next 6 batters, 5 of them left-handed for a Brewers team that ranks dead last in batting average this year and has struck out a National League high 961 times, but is in first place in the Central.
It is in the first place in the Central, and I think it has to do, and it's based off pitching and defense. And Colton Wong has played a big part of why the Milwaukee Brewers are where they are defensively. Makes everyone around him better.
Oh, no.
2 balls and no strikes. The count to Colton Wong. Wong, Yelich, and Adames check the count. 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 to Wong, who's been hot over his last 17 games, hitting over 300. But not everybody in the Brewers lineup can claim that, despite a couple of wins here against the White Sox over the weekend. It's a very strange profiling offensive team. Not a lot of contact. They do get on base a lot. They walk a lot. They don't hit for much power, but once again, they're in first place.
It's heating up here. It's a warm night. The Brewers, I think, offensively, they're going to start swinging the bat. You don't expect Yelich to be the Yelich that we saw last season without any fans in the stands. And hopefully, for Brewers' sake, his back is getting better because they'll need that. They'll need that bat offensively down the stretch.
Back to a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And a called strike 3 taken by Colton Wong.
Well, he was pitching up in the zone, up and in. Then all of a sudden he throws this 2-seam fastball down and away. Give him a lot of credit to Semi Zavala behind the plate. Picking it up, reaching out and giving a target. See where it receives it right in the webbing. And right there, gets the call from Dan Iazania, who's behind the plate.
The umpires have been under a little scrutiny in this series, shall we say. A couple of unusual plays to start this series. Tony La Russa taking issue with a call yesterday. And Tony was very diplomatic today in talking about how difficult umpires' jobs are. He has no problem with what's happened. He wanted an explanation procedurally on a delay. It's quickly 0-2 on Christian Yelich. We asked Tony before the game, you taking the lineup card out tonight just to visit with anybody? He said, I only do it first game of the series. You should know that by now. He's only been doing this 50 years.
I think it changed a little bit, especially when he started working for Major League Baseball, where he's in charge of a lot of the rules, along with Joe Torre and Joe Torre's camp, and started to get to see the umpire's side of it a little bit. He might have softened up.
I think that's the right read. 1-2 the count to Christian Yelich. Now the 2-time All-Star and former National League MVP with just 6 home runs at the start of play tonight. And Yelich is a strikeout victim. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lance Lynn. 2 away for Willy Adames, who is wearing a microphone for us tonight.
Quiet today. Gotta be quiet today. Everybody stay away from me today. Oh, you looking good, baby. Yeah, baby, very good.
Working? Hot mic.
Yeah.
Checking.
1, 2, 1, 2. I'm mic'd up. Woo!
Letting everybody know. I'm hot. I'm wearing a mic. 2 gone for him with the bases empty. What a difference Willy Adames has made in Milwaukee. Everybody knew the kind of defender he was when he was acquired from the Rays. What has surprised people are these numbers, the offensive part of the game.
Yeah, and when he came here, he immediately went and started working on his hitting. He knew that he had to make an impact. Unlike the hitter that he was in Tampa this past year, they started looking at tape of 2019, the second half, and they said, you know what, we need to get back to that. And give a lot of credit to the Brewers for doing their homework, seeing who Willy Adames can be offensively, and they got to work right away. Give a lot of credit to Willy Adames for trusting the Brewers into the approach.
Adames behind 0-2. Looking for his first hit of the series.
Inside.
A ball and 2 strikes to Willie.
What a great purpose pitch right there. 0-2. Gets him now to look in, see in. It opens everything middle way up for Lance Lynn. He can go to the cutter, he can go to the 4-seam fastball, or if he wants, he can double up and go right back in there again.
There have been 6 outs recorded in this game, 5 of them via the strikeout, and I think Ravi and the guys might have been a little light on their prediction when they said there'd be 20 combined strikeouts. We're on a pace for about 50. Lance Lynn and Brandon Woodruff, very similar journeys to Major League stardom. Both of them, rival colleges in Mississippi, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Both of them 2-time All-Stars. Each of them going to the Midsummer Classic this year. And they have been great this season, ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively in earned run average. And how about this note? The combined ERA between tonight's 2 starters is the lowest in Sunday Night Baseball history. little self-serving on our part, but it totally works.
No, I mean, hey, I grew up watching Sunday Night Baseball, so.
Woodruff back to work in the top half of inning number 2 for Yoan Moncada, Andrew Vaughn, and Brian Goodwin. Moncada's reached base safely in 18 of his last 20. 275 hitter, only 8 home runs as we round out the month of July. A ball and a strike. Only the Royals have hit fewer home runs than the White Sox among American League teams, and of course the notable absence of Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez probably at the core of that. But the good news is those players should be returning very soon.
And when they do, Moncada will definitely now move up in the order because he takes a lot of pitches. No player in baseball sees more than 3-2 counts than Yoan Moncada.
And there's a base hit to right, first base runner of the ball game.
How about that right there? 1-2 pitch up in the zone. That's where Woodruff gets a lot of swings and misses. And Moncada quiet at the plate. Look at his hands. Just stays right there quick, right to the baseball. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Quiet. Bottom half as well. Puts that foot down and just drives it into right field for the first knock of the night.
So the leadoff hitter aboard now for the left fielder, Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn has been hot. 3 straight multi-hit games. A lot of questions as to where Andrew Vaughn would play during spring training, even into the first few weeks of the season. He has settled in left field in the absence of Eloy Jimenez. Remains to be seen how that'll work itself out when Jimenez comes back. You can only DH 1 guy a night.
And Matt, Tony La Russa told reporters before today's game that Jimenez will be in the White Sox lineup tomorrow against the Kansas City Royals.
Boy, back much sooner than a lot of people had feared after that pectoral muscle injury. On a hop for Adames to Wong, and the turn is there in plenty of time to double off Vaughn.
Excellent pitch right there by Woodruff to get him to get jammed. Again, 2-seam fastball running in, stays up, breaks his bat. When you get jammed like that, the last thing you can do is get out of the box in a hurry. Moncada easily forced out at second. The turn beautifully done to finish off the double play.
Here's Brian Goodwin now with 2 gone and the bases empty. You know, so often we talk about pitchers that induce soft contact, and we have that conversation around guys like Dallas Keuchel, who doesn't light up the radar gun. Woodruff is a guy who does light up the radar gun and gets a lot of outs like that. That was a 66-mile-an-hour ground ball that turned into the double play.
And it's his ability to be able to use that 2-seam fastball with runners on to get that soft contact so the ball stays in the infield once it's hit on the ground. I mean, he's evolved into not just a thrower out there, but a pitcher utilizing that curveball at a higher rate. Still throws his slider, but picks his spots to be able to throw it. We saw it against Abreu. Brandon Woodruff right there, lowest hard hit rate allowed. You see him in the top 5 at 31%.
Right there with his staff mate Corbin Burns, who's also been so good. You know, if we start projecting the Cy Young race in the National League, some of these staff mates could be stealing votes away from one another. How do you determine between Burns and Woodruff? If you want to vote for a Brewer, what do? Flip a coin?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I was betting on Corbin Burns just because he hadn't walked anyone. Now you have to admire what Woodruff has been able to do on the mound. Just pounding the strike zone, and the way he's utilized, again, that curveball has really impressed a lot of his opponents.
Full count to Brian Goodwin. Bases empty with 2 gone. A scoreless ball game early. 3-2 pitch home, and a nice take by Goodwin to draw ball 4. If you're going to find a little bit of a nitpicky blemish on Woodruff's last start, it was the walks. And it's been a while between assignments again for Brandon. They're working in a 6-man rotation, a day off included in there. So the last start was back on the 17th of July, and he walked 4 in Cincinnati. Only allowed a couple of earned runs, however. Goodwin aboard with 2 gone now for Leury Garcia, the switch hitting second baseman, who's just 1 for his last 21.
And Matt, when I talked to Woodruff yesterday, he talked about the adjustment that he has to make this year when they're giving him at least 5 days of rest between starts. And in particular, it's when to have his bullpen day. In the past, it's been 2 days after he starts. This year, recently, they moved it to the 3rd day after he starts. He said that's helped.
And Garcia has a base hit to right. Two hits and a walk in the inning.
Two lefties, one getting the walk, the other one getting that 4-seam fastball and not missing it. Base hit. Now you get Seby Zavala up after that loud base hit with 2 outs. More of a defensive guy coming up to the plate.
I mean, you'd think on paper this is a part of the batting order where Woodruff won't get hurt. Zavala batting $167, and then it's Lance Lynn on deck behind him, trying to strand 2 base runners nonetheless with 2 gone here in the inning. And no sooner are the words out of my mouth than Zavala comes through. Jackie Bradley up and throwing. It's too late as Goodwin scores, and the Sox are on the board first tonight.
Why wait? Beautiful piece of hitting right there by Zavala, not known for his offense. Jumps all over the first pitch, and the most important part, Joe McEwing at third base. He gets a curveball, hits it right back up the middle. You have to send the runner right there. Brian Goodwin getting a good secondary lead at second base off this base hit. Even with the arm of Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, you see the secondary. You have to send him. The pitcher's coming up next. It's Lance Lynn. No reason to hold him back. Throws offline. Goodwin scores. Now runners at second and third with 2 outs.
A run on 3 hits and a walk in the inning against Woodruff, and now it's Lynn, whose last hit in the big leagues came in 2017 in a St. Louis Cardinals uniform.
And this is the reason why you have to coach National League Baseball if you're the White Sox right now. Joe McEwing at third base had to send him right there because of Lance Lynn offensively. Not the greatest offensive hitter of all time by any means, but when you have the pitcher on deck, you have to know the situation. You have to respect the arm of Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, but you have to right there force him to make a perfect throw at home to get him out.
0-2 the count to Lance Lynn. A run in with 2 gone, second and third. And Lynn has a little flare into right field. That's going to score another. The throw to the plate's too late on Zavala, and the Sox have struck for 3 in the second. Lance Lynn's first hit in almost 4 years. Drives in a pair. Wow.
0-2. No reason to even throw anything around the plate. You throw a curveball, he's done. Instead, he goes right here to a 2-seam fastball, and Lance Lynn, just like he uses his TrackMan at home for his golf swings during the offseason, looks like it paid off in a major way. A weak fly, a base hit to right field, scores 2. Zavala from second base, and Lance Lynn is loving it, helping himself offensively.
Well, there are so many outliers that were just represented there. That in over 50 0-2 plate appearances this year against Brandon Woodruff, that's only the 4th hit he's allowed. It comes against the opposing pitcher, again, whose last hit was quite a while ago. 3 unlikely runs against Woodruff in the 2nd. Wow. And back to the top of the order, Tim Anderson. 20th pitch of the inning is a drive out to center field. Bradley back on it to retire the side. Not before the crooked squiggly number is drawn. 3 runs on 4 hits. Lance Lynn with a couple of RBIs. 3-0 Sox. Here's a look at the upcoming games for the week on ESPN. And if you like AL Eastern Division action, this is the week for you. Jays and Sox tomorrow. Yankees Rays Wednesday. And then we'll be in Tampa St. Pete a week from tonight for the Red Sox and Rays on Sunday Night Baseball. All games at 7 Eastern coming up this week. Well, Shohei Ohtani homered today in the Angels win in Minnesota, and Lance Lynn telling us, hey, you guys are talking way too much about guys that can do it on both sides of the scorecard without including me. 2-run single for him in the top half of inning number 2. 3-0 White Sox. Omar Narvaez, Rowdy Tellez, and Jace Peterson in the Brewers half of inning number 2. Lynn struck out the side in the 1st. And strike 1 to Narvaez. An all-star this year, Omar Narvaez at .291. He has turned into a very good both sides of the scorecard backstop. A ball and a strike.
Really has. Last year had an off season offensively. Always known for his bat, not his defense. But ever since he got here with the Brewers, things have changed defensively for him.
Really close to the top.
Started taking in more of the analytical approach. As soon as he put on the Brewer uniform and signed on the dotted line, they started working with him, moving him up defensively towards the hitter. Something we'll take a look at during this game. But most importantly, the way he receives the baseball.
A ground ball to the nearly vacated left side of the infield. And there's one away to start the 2nd for Lance Lynn. Well, you give Lance Lynn an early 3-0 lead in a ballpark he likes to work in against a lineup he's had success with. And that could be a really nice formula for the White Sox to earn their first win of the series and avoid the sweep. He is 10-3 here against the Brewers. His career ERA against Milwaukee is 2.20. That is the lowest career ERA all time by any pitcher that's thrown at least 100 innings against Milwaukee. A touch better than Roger Clemens' career ERA versus the Brewers. 1 gone for Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy, one of the newer Brewers. And he's had a nice series, 5 for 7 with a couple of homers.
No secret what Lance is trying to do against Rowdy with the first 2 pitches. Crowd him in. Do not let those arms get extended. Wants the ball out over the plate to be able to drive. Right now he's using that cutter and that 4-seamer in. Most likely he will not see that 2-seamer run away because it could run into the barrel.
Ball down.
2 balls and a strike.
2-1.
That pitch right there is the one Lance has been working on a little bit more, that changeup. Take something off, down and away, just to give him a different look to try to go right back in.
In the air for Moncada, who'll drift out into shallow left to put it away, and there are 2 gone in the second.
There it is. When you see the 2021 pitch usage, 92% of the time he throws a fastball. He calls the cutter, not a slider, that fastball. The sinker uses it well against right-handed hitters, and the 4th seam, he will elevate it. You look at all the others that use the fastball, not even close. No one in Major League Baseball gets close to Lance Lynn.
Visited with that man, his pitching coach Ethan Katz before the game, and we talked a little bit about what Lance does on the side. Veteran guy's been doing this a long time. Doesn't throw many fastballs in his side sessions. In fact, Ethan Katz told me that it's essentially all off speed. He'll mess around with a split, change, curve during his side sessions. He's one of those guys, Lynn, that can fall out of bed and throw a fastball for a strike. Work on the feel stuff between sessions. And 0-2.
And not only that, Lance also during the offseason ended up purchasing a TrackMan and started using it not only for his pitching abilities to just mess around with the pitch axis and release point, making sure everything stays consistent, but also for his golf game, right, Buster?
That's right. And he acknowledged with a wry smile that, yes, that's probably what he uses it for as much as he does the pitching. And I said, well, how much has it helped? He goes, not at all.
I love it.
Some of our golf games are beyond repair. And a bouncer to first base for Jose Abreu. 6 up, 6 down for Lance Lynn to start the ball game. On to inning number 3 in Milwaukee tonight. White Sox as we go to the top half of inning number 3, and we are joined by 2-time All-Star Liam Hendriks of the White Sox. Liam, we wanted to ask about Ohtani. Who was that put that in your ear?
Oh, that was Gio. It's the only. I think it's the only player he ever thinks about.
Hey, congratulations, by the way, on your second All-Star appearance. And before we get into this inning, you made good on your knuckleball bet. We mentioned Wilbur Wood a little while ago. Tell us about the knuckleball bet and what happened in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I ran into Rob Friedman, aka the pitching ninja, on the red carpet afterwards, and we had a bet. So he started saying like, "Okay, let's go to the knuckleball. I'll give you $20." I'm like, "No, don't give me $20. Let's work on a charitable donation to an animal rescue, which I'm pretty into." So we were able to figure it out, and we raised about $2,500 for the rescue, and then a bunch of their merchandise was bought as well for an organization called Players for Pits out of Chicago.
Liam, who throws harder, your bullpen or your starting pitching?
We actually have a tally. So on the iPads every day, that boy sheets, you get down. We actually have a tally. I get the highest, and I'm just going by highest actual pitch. And right now it's Carlos Rodon's got 100.7, and then we got a couple relievers behind him with 100.6. So we're working on it. We can't let that starting rotation beat us out there in the bullpen. We got too many good arms out there.
Wait a second. So Michael Kopech, are you guys claiming him still, or when he goes to the starting rotation, do you lose him?
That's
do you keep him?
that's a topic for a debate. Actually, we've been going back and forth on. We're claiming him because I feel like we've invested in him. We've given him the little bit out there to start off with, and he's run with it. Plus, we both have man buns, ponytails, kind of thing. So I think that makes him ours.
Hey, you were responsible for a lot of merch sales in your native land when you played with the Oakland A's. Is White Sox logo now being worn out there? Is there a lot of black and white and White Sox caps being waved around in Perth?
I hope so, to be honest. Talking to my parents the other day, they said they ran into a couple people that have had White Sox hats on. The problem is with most Australians that wear hats like that, they actually don't know what it is. So. So we're working on that. We're working on the brand awareness and hopefully the black slimming. I mean, it's going to look good on everybody.
It's slimming.
Hey, talk about your staff a little bit. Eduardo kind of got you down this conversation a little bit, but tomorrow, Dallas Keuchel, you've got hard throwers, you've got crafty guys. I mean, it really is a unique blend of styles, and with a pitching coach who has really connected with you guys this year.
Yeah, I mean, this rotation is unbelievable between the guys who throw a little harder with Gio and Rodon, and then you get Lance, who can run it up there as well, and then you mix it over to Cease, who's got some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen in my life, to then Keuchel, who just pitches with that finesse that you just don't see that often anymore, and it's amazing what he's been able to do, and the way that his ball moves is unreal. It's incredible. It's just and it's also a lot of fun coming in after him because everybody's set up for 87, 88, and I'm going to come in a little bit harder.
Little jam shot to Abreu, back to Woodruff to second for one, and the relay is the second double play turn tonight by the Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, Liam, with such a big division lead, is there ever discussion as to your usage down the stretch? I know that for starters, you know, I hate using load management to borrow the NBA terminology, but it's a real thing for starters who know they're going to work deep into the fall. Does that apply to you guys in the bullpen as well?
For me specifically, no. I want to pitch as much as I can. So the more I pitch, the better I feel, and that's just the way we've been going about it so far this year. But there's some other guys out there who are younger, who haven't had more than a 60-game season to get loose, and that's going to be very important for those guys. But the good thing is, everyone out there has ridiculous stuff. It's unbelievable the acumen that a lot of these guys have on the mound, and just the velocity and the breaking balls and stuff like that. So I think a lot of these guys were able to mix and match a lot, which is a luxury to be able to have in this game today.
With two out, anybody you want to have a shout out to at home these days?
Yeah, I actually want to send out my condolences to the Flintoff family. Peter Flintoff was one of our Australian baseball's greatest human beings that I've ever known in my life. He unfortunately passed away this last week. I wanted to give a shout out to his family, making sure they're okay. I mean, Pete was such a great guy, influence on my career with a website that he used to run. But yeah, he's great for Australian baseball, and we're going to miss him a lot out there.
Our condolences for the loss. Hey, we appreciate the time, Liam, as always. Thanks, man. Best of luck down the stretch.
Thanks guys. Brother. Appreciate it.
Still 3-0 White Sox. 3-0 White Sox, bottom half of inning number 3. It's just the third time in 20 starts that Brandon Woodruff has allowed 3 earned runs on his watch, and Craig Counsell takes some time to visit with us. I guess we just should have scouted Lance Lynn a little better as a hitter, Craig, at this point of the night.
Yeah, I give him credit. You know, doing that against Woodruff is, you know, it's a little bit too much played on a 2-strike pitch, and he did a nice job with it.
You know, tonight notwithstanding, just speak, if you would, big picture about a really special group, a really talented group of starting pitchers that you've got on your roster this year.
Yeah, these guys have been amazing for us, and they've really driven the bus, so to speak, for us all year. And you know, we're gonna count on them the rest of the year, and we're lucky to have them.
What have you seen from Lance Lynn against your team so far in the 6 at-bats you faced?
Well, this guy's having a great season, and he's, you know, from his St. Louis days, from kind of when I last saw him in person, he's got a little more to what he can do. He's got a little more versatility to the pitches, and that just has made him that much better. Always has a special fastball, just tough to square up fastball, and he's got a couple other things he's added in there, sprinkling in there with it, that just makes it really tough at bat.
Give us the key down the stretch for you guys, Craig, in addition to the great starting pitching, which you know you can count on.
Well, you know, for us, the other thing I always think about, we're a run prevention team, so just playing good defense, which we're set up to do. Now that, you know, having Colton and Willie Adames in the middle, we're set up having Jackie Bradley or Lorenzo Cain in center field. We're set up to play really good defense. So continuing to be a really good defensive team and just not letting other teams score and making it really difficult to score is a good formula for us.
Craig, we appreciate the visit, man. Best of luck down the stretch.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
7 up, 7 down against Lance Lynn to start the night.
That's a guy that gets it, understands how and what the players go through and the grind.
Well, you know, there's another thing that works here in Milwaukee that I think fans might take for granted in pro sports, not just in baseball. There is complete simpatico between Craig Counsell, the manager on the field, and the front office. It is a complete buy-in philosophically. David Stearns is one of the sharpest minds in the game. He identifies talent, they identify methodologies, and it's not always conventional, but it works, and this is not a place that can afford a luxury tax payroll. They've just done things a little smarter here the past couple of years to be as competitive as they have. It's ball and 2 strikes on Jackie Bradley Jr. You know, a part of that is bringing in guys like Jackie Bradley Jr. And let's face it, in the offseason, the market allowed for Bradley to fall to the Brewers. There were thoughts that he'd sign a 3-4 year deal someplace, possibly stay in Boston. Milwaukee had an opportunity buster, and they pulled off one of the great value signings of the winter.
Yeah, if you're the Brewers, a key is always taking advantage of market inefficiencies, undervalued assets, players like Jackie Bradley Jr. or Colton Long, who had a club option with the St. Louis Cardinals for 2021. Cardinals turned that down so that he signs a 2-year, $20 million deal. Before he has Monty Grandal, a 1-year deal. Mike Moustakas, a 1-year deal. Chris Carter, a 1-year deal. And think about the deal for Willy Adames. There was a player who Tampa Bay had to move on past. It wasn't a player who had been hitting especially well. But for the Brewers, they found someone who obviously is not only helping them defensively, but also as a leader in the clubhouse. And boy, the defensive team they put together this year, remarkable.
It's full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jackie Bradley Jr. I hate this cliche, but it's true that pitching and defense wins, right?
Yeah, it really does, especially when you have that defense up the middle. Plays really well, and it gives them pitchers a lot of confidence to be able to let the defense go out there and play. But again, just the smart and savviness of them having signed Freddie Peralta last year to a 5-year, $15 million deal with club options in 2025 and 26. You have Avisail Garcia, who also ends up signing a 2-year, $20 million deal. Get guys like that. And a lot of people wondered why Jackie Bradley Jr. when you already had 3 outfielders. But Lorenzo Cain had not played last year. Yelich was coming back from a back injury. You didn't know what you were going to get there. So you're able to give players days off, experience, and you upgraded on defense.
I mean, let's face it, they've needed all those outfielders because rarely have they had everybody healthy at the same time. Brewers happy they'll be getting Cain back soon. Still a full count to Jackie Bradley Jr. Here's the 9th pitch of the at-bat on its way, and it's a bouncing ball to the right side. Easy pickings for Abreu, and out number 2, 8 in a row set down by Lynn. Getting closer to this week's 5th inning Fast Talk presented by T-Mobile. Grab your phone during the mid-5th inning commercial break and head over to ESPN's Instagram Live, where Eduardo and I will be answering your hard-hitting baseball questions. Be sure to tune in to a fast-paced live stream. You won't want to miss it. Locaine bobbleheads tonight, Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Did you already put yours in your bag? I didn't see yours.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Looks good though. There is a fan that's sitting in front of us that if I had a little suction cup or something, he would not know that I would have it in my back pocket and it wouldn't be under his seat.
2 gone, bases empty now for Brandon Woodruff, trying to match what Lynn's done at the plate. This appearance coming with the bases empty and 2 gone. His hitting prowess is not a secret. And in fact, Brandon Woodruff's big signature moment at the plate came with the bright lights of the postseason on him. Game 1 of the NLCS as a reliever homered against Clayton Kershaw.
That was special. I think he was pumped up. Left on left against Kershaw in the postseason. Money.
That was the moment that, in the eyes of many, Brandon Woodruff arrived. He's in the rotation the following year, and we all know what comes next. 5 days, every 5 days, every 6 days, one of the best in the game. Ball and 2 strikes to him here with 2 gone and the bases empty. 8 in a row retired by Lance Lynn.
Except
two big dudes, too. These are just large men. You're a big guy, and I think even you might look uphill at one of them.
Oh, yes.
I look uphill at everybody, but these guys are huge. Remember when Lance Lynn tried to cut a bunch of weight when he was with the Yankees?
Yeah, that didn't work well.
Didn't work.
Wow.
That was the one little hiccup in his career. He had that kind of funky year and a half where he cut some weight, just wasn't as effective.
Cut some weight. The pinstripes looked like they needed some ironing because the shirt was too big. Now, this is how he pitches comfortably. This is how he's always pitched, even in his college days. Big, burly dude.
All right, we're going to have a full count now.
How about the at-bats from both pitchers?
Yeah.
3-2. Well, Woodruff looks hitterish, doesn't he, Eduardo?
Oh, he does. He's got that elbow guard on, the stance, the hands where they are, and then when you hit a home run of Clayton Kershaw in the past couple years ago, you're always going to feel pretty saucy at the plate.
3-2 pitch. And Lynn is working to him like he would a position player.
And if you think by any chance that Brandon Woodruff does not know that Lance Lynn went to Ole Miss or vice versa, you are wrong. These guys do know that. And right now, Lynn is up with those 2 RBIs.
The next 3-2 pitch home. And Woodruff sends a fly ball out to shallow right, laying out his sheets. And he can't make the catch. And the starting pitchers are 2 for 2 at the plate tonight. First Brewer base runner of the game is the pitcher.
How about that? Outfield respecting the pop from Woodruff. Right here, Gavin Sheets falls short from making the play. There goes the no-no, the perfect game through. Can't even say perfect game after just 3 innings.
Why not?
I'm not going there.
You can always do it.
But he can always say that he ruined his perfect game. Mississippi State guy to the Ole Miss.
Here's Colton Wong now with Woodruff aboard and 2 away. Wong struck out to open the bottom of the first.
White Sox playing the shift here on Colton Wong. Moncada playing in just in case Wong wants to bunt.
And Wong sends a base hit back up the middle. First and second with 2 away.
Tell you what's interesting right here is when the White Sox did score in the second inning, it was done with 2 outs on weak base hits. Right now, the Milwaukee Brewers 2 shots, none of them barreled, get in for a hit, and now you have Christian Yelich at the plate.
That is just the second base hit allowed by Lance Lynn with a man on in his last 5 starts. Yelich also a strikeout victim in his first at bat tonight. These are the situations where it's been good Christian Yelich with runners on, as you can see. 0-1. You know, it is impossible to get around the injuries with Yelich as being at least to some degree responsible for the lack of productivity. Bad back has cost him 2 stints on the IL this year. If you want to go back to the fractured kneecap in 2019, that's where a lot of people think that the trouble began for Christian. 0-1. And it's 0-2 now.
Those are the pitches Christian Yelich was not missing a couple years ago. You look at those numbers right there, and they are drastic. He struggled immensely against left-handed pitching, but overall, he has just not been able to barrel those pitches in the zone, up in the zone, where the Milwaukee fans were used to seeing him once he came in on that big trade from the Marlins.
2 on, 2 out. A ball and 2 strikes to Yelich.
Almost the same sequence that we saw early on with 0-2, goes soft down and away. Let's see if he repeats the sequence and now tries to throw him something in. And Christian, if he remembers, might be looking there.
You know, Yelich is still getting on base. He still takes his walks. On base percentage is almost 400. It's a situation here where the Brewers are looking for more than just getting on base. He's caught looking. Four strikeouts for Lance Lynn tonight. And that last one strands a pair. Still 3-0 White Sox. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by Blue Moon Light Sky. Savor every sip. The celebratory images of the Bucks NBA championship. Did you make it out to the Deer District at all last night?
Did not. Had a nice little dinner yesterday though at Carnivore. Very good dinner. I'll tell you this, and this is what makes Lance Lynn really difficult. And I have to take a look back at Christian Yelich's at bat. I want to focus on that first pitch because we talked to Lance Lynn about his usage of the cutter. And this right here is a 91-mile-per-hour cutter and speeds him up. And then that right there, the strike 3, that was an 86.6 mile per hour. If you look it up, maybe on Savant, you'll see that he uses it as a cutter. But that's his slider. And he's able to still keep the same grip, just add and subtract from it. Sometimes, if you want, you can call it a cutter, but it acts like a slider, and for the hitter, he's looking for something hard. Once he sees a wrinkle in it, it froze Christian Yelich. And right now, he's just thinking about that at-bat, saying, how did I let that pitch go by? And it was that 4-mile differential in pitch that was able to get him that strikeout looking.
Vaughn, Goodwin, and Garcia in the White Sox fourth. Quick reminder that the MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to the ballpark. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and more. Download the Ballpark app today. Big crowd in Milwaukee tonight. A lot of folks driving north up I-94 wearing White Sox colors to take this one in. Andrew Vaughn leads things off in the fourth inning for Chicago. And I would imagine there's some fans that got on the road with every intention of driving to Milwaukee, and they decided we'll just stop in Kenosha, sit and watch a game at the Mars Cheese Castle.
What?
Oh yeah, you haven't lived yet, my friend. We had another day here.
Okay.
I would take you to the Mars Cheese Castle. You know, we might
run into him.
We might even see Shoeless Joe. It's still around, apparently. Yeah, it's right in the middle.
Okay.
And you get a lot of Bears Packers clashes.
Wait.
You get a lot of you know, Brewers Cubs. You get a lot. It's a great place.
Wait a second. How do you know so much about Milwaukee?
Spent a little time here.
How much time?
Late 90s, few years.
Years.
Picked up right where I left off last night, crashed a wedding reception, and ended up by myself at Real Chili. Vaughn caught looking at a called strike 3. 4 for Woodruff tonight. What was this place like? Now, when you played in the old ballpark.
I played in both.
You played at County Stadium and you played here.
Played in both.
What were your experiences here as a player?
I loved hitting in this ballpark. I think it is one of the best ballparks to hit in. The background of the ballpark is fantastic. The grass played real, everything. I mean, it was, you could pick up the ball really well. and the ball traveled well gap to gap.
Yeah. That has been, I think that's what a lot of people think currently. Current players feel the same way. And on a night like tonight, again, with the roofs open, panels are open, great hitters conditions. Count is 0-1 on Brian Goodwin. Hard to believe this place is already 20 years old because it still presents like a brand new ballpark. Quickly 0-2.
Matt, this place always has great energy too. It's one of my favorite places to come to because it feels like that the fans are into it pitch to pitch.
Oh, I mean, this is an area, a sports community that is starving for winners, and the way they've thrown their arms around the Bucks, the same thing's going to happen and then some if the Brewers can replicate that success. I mean, it's been a long time. The '82 Sud Series, that's the one and only World Series appearance that the Brewers have made, lost to the Cardinals in 7 games. Maybe with some healthier players, it's different. Boy, that's a tired act is what that is. A lot of earth tones there. Also known as the trying too hard photo. Goodwin sends a fly ball into shallow left.
Now, I know they named booths and everything. Are we in the Matt Vasgersian?
No. I wasn't here long enough for that. There is one man that gets a booth here, and that's the Hall of Famer Bob Uecker. That's it.
I had a nice conversation with him today. I know I saw you having a conversation with him as well.
Still one of the funniest. I mean, Uecker is funny when he's not trying to be funny. That's what sets him apart.
So he asked me today, he goes, "You nervous?" I said, "For what, Uecker?" He goes, "Sunday Night Baseball, you nervous?" I said, "No." He goes, I got a remedy for you." I said, "Uecker, what's the remedy?" He goes, "It's in my office if you want it." I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, Uecker."
Good ball and no strikes to Leury Garcia. There it is. The Bob Uecker statue, the Uecker seats. It's an institution. 2 balls and no strikes to Garcia, batting with 2 gone and the base is empty. White Sox scratch across 3. All 3 coming with 2 out in the top of the 2nd. Only 1 base runner since on Woodruff's watch. 3 balls and no strikes. Four strikeouts for Woodruff this evening. Yesterday, the Brewers became the first team to ever strike out 1,000 batters in fewer than 100 games. Three balls and a strike.
This is situation 2. We talked about the improved Brewers defense. Brandon told me yesterday that he has so much confidence in him when he gets behind the count. Just pound the strike zone. Put the ball in play.
And it's a full count now.
3-2.
Two gone, base is empty. 3-2 on Leury Garcia. 3-0 White Sox. Another deep count. Seventh pitch of the at-bat on its way. The next 3-2. And there is ball 4. Second walk of the night issued by Woodruff. You know, there's some great history between these two teams when they were both American League rivals back in the day. And they got together for a notable night, or 2 nights, May 8th and 9th, 1984, a 25-inning game. 8 hours and 6 minutes, longest game by time in Major League history. Harold Baines hit a solo homer in the bottom of the 25th to win it 7-6. Oh, yes.
25 innings.
It was back when the curfew prevented any new innings from starting after a certain time. I think it was 1 a.m. You know, Tom Paciorek, who spent many years with Hawk Harrelson in the White Sox TV booth. And by the way, congratulations to Hawk who was inducted into Cooperstown this weekend. He tells a great story about being a non-starter that night. He said he was eating pizza in the clubhouse. Somebody got hurt, and he heard a voice yell down the tunnel, "We need you, Pashorek," and he had pizza on his jersey and pizza in his mouth. He was chewing pizza at the time, struck out on 3 pitches, and then got 8 more at-bats in that
Ouch.
game.
The only one that did not go hungry during the game, right?
Right. 1-1 to Seby Zavala, who delivered an RBI single in the second. I think it was Ron Kittle got hurt, and so Wimpy had to go in and play. Did you see any of the Hall of Fame speech today?
I did not.
Nice moment for Hawk, for sure. So deserving. Throw down to first is a little off, and Garcia gets back.
Well, Zavala proved in that first at bat against Woodruff he could hit a curveball, and since Woodruff has gone to the fastball up, Narvaez there trying to backdoor on Nodi.
Ball and 2 strikes to Seby Zavala. Just quick enough to stay alive. Over 20 pitches in the second, and this will be his 20th pitch here in the fourth.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to the bottom order of the White Sox. They're the ones that have created the entire damage. All 3 runs came from the bottom of the order, and now to get 20 pitches out of Woodruff in this inning, just wearing him out early on. Managers look at high stress innings. Second high stress inning for Woodruff, and both times coming from the bottom of the order. La Russa has to be happy with what he sees from that part of the lineup.
The next 1-2. Back to Woodruff. 2-out runner left stranded. We played 3.5 at American Family Field tonight. 3-0 White Sox. Leading 3-0 back in Milwaukee with Eduardo Perez and Buster Olney. Matt Vasgersian, good to have you with us tonight for Sunday Night Baseball. Brewers trying to cut into that early deficit. They'll send up Willie Adames, Omar Narvaez, and Rowdy Tellez, the 3-4-5 batters here in the bottom half of the fourth. Willie Adames wired, wearing a microphone and talking to his bat tonight.
Tú y yo tenemos rato que no vamos un día. Oye, yo tengo desde el domingo pasado que no doy un hit. Mi amor, mi amor. Vamos, despiértate. Vamos, mi amor, despiértate, despiértate. Vamos, despiértate.
I've been there. The only problem that I had when I spoke to the bat is I actually made sure that I spoke Spanish and English to the bat just in case.
It wasn't bilingual.
Just in case.
It's good. You never know what language the bat speaks.
Woods from Pennsylvania. You never know.
Adames leading things off in the fourth. And his bat's just not listening to him yet. And a good play by Abreu to get there a step better than the runner.
And as they say in Spanish, a veces no es la flecha, es el indio. In other words, sometimes it's not the arrow, it's the one that's using the arrow. And in this case, it's Willie Adames who flies open a bit, hits off the end of the bat, and a nice play there by Abreu beating Adames to the bag.
They'll bring up the catcher, Omar Narvaez. You got to be pretty comfortable to talk to the bat, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever take it home with you?
Oh yeah.
Sleep with it, cook for it, anything like that?
I used to actually put a little bit of water on it and then put it next to the air conditioner when I was on the road. I would take it with me. and then I was hoping that the bat would catch a fever, get hot, and then I would use it.
I always believe
baseball players are very superstitious.
That must have been a really deep slump.
That was my life, Buster.
I was believing you for a minute.
No.
1-0 to Narvaez is hit in the air out to shallow left. Anderson tracking it all the way from the infield before Vaughn can close to make the catch.
Every time nacho fries came back, that bold seasoning was drawing something closer. And once they taste that warm nacho cheese sauce, they won't stop till there's nothing left.
Taco Bell's Fry Force, now serving at a Taco Bell near you.
Two gone, base is empty for Rowdy Tellez. Boy, if Lynn can get Tellez, that means he will have retired the side in order in 3 of the 4 innings that he's opened tonight. We talked about Rowdy being a newer Brewer, acquired from Toronto just a few weeks ago. And if I'm a guessing man, I still think that there is some interest in upgrading the position for the Brewers. Tellez has been great, done everything they've asked of him.
But I think that improvement comes from the right side of the plate. And if you're able to acquire a player that can play either corner position, be versatile, and still have thump from the right side of the plate, I think that's what David Stearns and the Milwaukee Brewers are looking for.
Well, there was an interesting deal pulled off by the Padres today. One that may make available, perhaps, a veteran left-handed hitting first baseman. It's all pure speculation on my part, but I'm not sure what Milwaukee's going to do, or rather San Diego's going to do with all the infielders that they now have. Got to be an odd man out someplace, and I guess we can have Buster comment on this as we continue tonight. Here's the 1-2.
Matt, I think that they're actually going to use Adam Frazier potentially in the outfield. When they have been talking about adding players, they've not only been looking at outfielders, but they've also been talking about moving infielders to the outfield. One of the internal conversations they had was actually making a deal with the Colorado Rockies for Trevor Story and putting him in center field. So this is the San Diego Padres again thinking outside the box.
Wow. And Tellez sprays a little fly ball out toward the left side, tracked down by Moncada. And indeed, Lance Lynn has retired the Brewers in order in 3 of the 4 innings he's worked tonight. Still 3-0 Pale Hose. Baseball on ESPN, telecast presented by Taco Bell. Lance Lynn has been a two-way star tonight. On the mound, he's only allowed 1 over the minimum. Check that, 2 over the minimum. And on the other side of the scorecard, a 2-run single, part of a 3-0 lead for Chicago. And Lynn will lead things off here in the 5th. Lynn then top of the order, Anderson and Sheets. And a notable night for Lance. First knock since 2017, as we talked about. His first RBI since 2015.
1-1.
1 ball and 1 strike. A big lead for the White Sox atop the AL Central, and one that seems to be getting bigger.
A lot of respect for him right now, by the way. Another curveball. Saw fastballs in his first at bat, and Woodruff got burned with it. He said, going curveball twice back to back with you.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Lance Lynn. Yeah, not this time. 5 tonight for Brandon Woodruff. You know, Lance Lynn, by the way, and I'm glad you reminded me of this, Eduardo, he is listed as a switch hitter in the White Sox media information. So as a switch hitter, you'd think, why isn't he in there left-handed against Brandon Woodruff? Well, he really isn't a switch hitter anymore. That was something that he did after his Tommy John surgery, because he didn't feel comfortable swinging the bat from the right side of the plate. He does have a double batting left-handed against Jameson Taillon.
I don't think he's too happy he threw him a curveball again, back to back to back. That's what happens when you drive in 2 on an 0-2 pitch.
A victim of his own success.
Yeah. Welcome to hitting 101. You hit, we'll throw a wrinkle at you.
0-1 the count to Tim Anderson, still looking for his first hit in the series. He's 0 for 10 this weekend.
Came way out of a strong position, thinking fastball, gets another hook.
Woodruff hoping for a quick inning. He's been out there and has endured a couple of long ones, and it's a 1 ball and 1. Check that, 2 ball 1 strike count to Tim Anderson. Five hits for the White Sox, coming against a guy whose 168 opponent's batting average is the second lowest in all of baseball. 2-2. Five strikeouts for Woodruff tonight and 15 swings and misses. He's got Tim Anderson in a 2-strike count. You know, you can talk about these all-star starters for the Milwaukee Brewers being kind of the strength of the team. And then if you think back on the last 4 or 5 World Series winners, one of the things that all those teams have in common is a very good group of frontline starters, a big 3, if you will. Whether you're talking about the 2018 Red Sox, Sale, Eovaldi, and Price, whether you're talking about Cubs in 2016, the Astros in 17 with Morton and Verlander atop the line. These guys are doing the heavy lifting. Woodruff, Burns, and Peralta. And I don't know if there's a trio any better in the National League this year.
Well, you talk about a trio that can give you swing and miss. That's a trio that can give you swing and miss. Overpowering stuff.
Like that. That's a pretty good hitter that's just blown away.
And blown away by the fastball. That's, again, the 6th strikeout of the night for Brandon Woodruff. And this time he elevates it. When you have that in your back pocket, you can miss location and still get away with it. Narvaez wants it away instead. Pitch goes up and in for the strikeout.
2 gone, bases empty for Gavin Sheets, who has struck out and singled tonight. Well, in that group of starters that we just showed you numbers for, Burns, Peralta, and Woodruff, it's the 9th time since 1980 that a team has sent 3 starters to the All-Star game. Of the previous 8, none of them have won a World Series. In fact, the only one of those teams that got to a World Series was the '96 Braves that lost to the Yankees with Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz all All-Stars. My point is, I guess it takes more than just 3 dominant starters.
And I think what Milwaukee is doing with them and monitoring their innings, because last year, let's face it, they did not pitch a lot, nor did any major leaguer pitch a lot in the 60-game season. You have to be able to monitor. Peralta now was piggybacked the other day by Hauser. Just threw 4 innings, 52 pitches in that outing. You have to monitor Burns, and you also have to monitor here Brandon.
Foul pop that'll retire the side. Tracked nicely by Jace Peterson, making his 2nd start at third base this year. And that's it for the top of the 5th, which means it's time for tonight's 5th inning Fast Talk presented by T-Mobile. Head over to ESPN's Instagram Live right now. 3-0 White Sox. Compete for daily cash prizes with as few as 10 picks with MLB Rally, presented by BetMGM. Download MLB Rally app now. Restrictions apply. See official rules at MLB.com/rally. 3-0 White Sox. Lance Lynn back to work. Bottom half of inning number 5 for Jace Peterson, Tyrone Taylor, and Jackie Bradley Jr. 3 runs on 5 hits for the White Sox. The damage coming in the top half of the second. No runs on just 2 hits for the Brewers tonight. Jace Peterson grounded out to first to retire the side in the second. 4 innings of work by Lance Lynn. He's retired the side in order in 3 of them. 1 gone here in the 5th.
How about Andrew Vaughn so far, what he's been able to do in the outfield? We saw him call off Tim Anderson on a ball coming in. Really good communication. And there, playing left field, you got to give a lot of credit to Darryl Boston, the outfield coach, for being able to not only make him feel comfortable on balls coming in, but a guy that is used to playing the infield, you usually want your outfielder to play deep and be able to come in. That's a nice job of him going back on the baseball, knowing exactly where he was the entire time and tracking it down.
All out.
Here's Tyrone Taylor now. Taylor's homered in back-to-back games and has heated up 8 for his last 20. Guy who's been in the organization a long time, 2nd-round draft selection back in 2012. And you wonder, as we get back to speculating on the trade market, what somebody like Tyrone Taylor getting hot would mean in terms of any further discussions to try to add to the roster. Those discussions are going on both sides of this matchup. I know that Rick Hahn and his staff reportedly interested in adding to the pitching ranks. I don't think there's a team in the race that wouldn't want to add a reliever or 2 down the stretch. White Sox are certainly included in that group, as good as their bullpen has been this year. 2 balls and a strike to count to Taylor. 2-2.
Yeah, and Matt, I get the sense, I mean, it has been generally to this point a relatively slow trading market, but there are a lot of indications, a lot of conditions beginning to gather where you feel like stuff is really going to pick up at the end of this week.
Yep,
still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And most specifically, I think you've got, potential sellers declaring themselves that way. In the last 10-15 days, it really does feel like that a lot of teams are sort of in that middle ground, trying to hang on, posturing themselves as buyers. I think that'll change for some of them in the next few days.
Nelson Cruz going to Tampa Bay a few days ago. Rich Hill from Tampa Bay, or from the Mets rather, by the Mets from Tampa Bay. I'll get it right. And then Adam Frazier from Pittsburgh to San Diego, and as Buster mentioned earlier, perhaps to play the outfield.
That's going to be interesting. He's got really good versatility, and Adam Frazier plays well defensively on the metrics, not only at second base, but also in left field. And that's where a lot of teams could see him fit well, and I think it adds insurance for anything that happens up the middle for them down the stretch.
It's so easy to be hyper reactive to the last round box scores. As Taylor sends that ball into right center field, it's going to roll all the way to the track. Tyrone Taylor stays hot, thinking about 3. The throw to third is offline. First extra base hit of the night for Milwaukee, a 1-out triple for Tyrone Taylor.
A couple days ago, Willie Adames told Tyrone Taylor, you're going to do something special. Well, he hit a grand slam. Yesterday hits a home run, and this time on the cutter, doesn't try to pull it, stays with it, hits it to right center field, and finds himself now 90 feet away from scoring. See him right there. He doesn't even pick up his third base coach, Jason Lane. He goes straight into third. He's his own coach. I love the fact that he knew rounding second, that it was his call. He was on his own right there to make it all the way to 3.
See if Milwaukee can cash in. Just their second opportunity tonight with a runner in scoring position. Here's Jackie Bradley. In this series, the Brewers are just 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Yet they've won both of the games prior to tonight. For the year, just a .224 average RISP. That is third from the bottom in baseball. (2-0).
Only the Yankees and Pirates are worse than that. Jackie Bradley Jr. right now 2-0 count. He's hit Lance Lynn well in the past. He came into this game hitting .429 against him.
Two balls and a strike. You know, being behind in the count has not really given any White Sox starters trouble this year. When their starters are behind in the count, as Lynn was here, opponents hit a major league low .293. Now, .293 is a firm number, but it is the lowest behind in the count number in the game. And just like that, Lynn is back to even at 2-2. And when you talk to Ethan Katz about that, avoiding obvious fastball counts, avoiding obvious patterns.
I kind of laugh right now because this is a pitcher on the mound that throws 92% of his pitches are fastballs. Yeah. And for him to get away from that, it's going to be difficult. But he is a master of illusion because he'll cut it, he'll four-seam it, and he'll two-seam it. And we've seen the changeup play big down and away on 2-2 counts.
Full count now, 3-2.
Overthrew that one there.
3-2. It's a weird comp, so stay with me on this. But, you know, Darvish has different variations of his slider. And it turns into, you know, a slider turns into 6 different pitches. Same can be said of Lance Lynn's fastball. Cut the plate in half. He does it to both sides of the plate. Sink it, cut it, rise it. It turns into 6 different pitches. Let's see what he has for Bradley with the runner at third and 1 gun in a 3-0 game. Try it again. Brandon Woodruff is on deck. Ordinarily, you'd say be careful with Bradley because it's the pitcher next, but Woodruff is not a garden variety hitting pitcher. The next 3-2. And Bradley sends that out to right center field. Taylor scores easily. Back-to-back extra base hits, and the Brewers are on the board in the 5th.
Milwaukee Brewers taking the page out of the book here from the Chicago White Sox. The bottom of the order doing the damage. First tripper by Taylor. This time Jackie Bradley Jr. pitched down and in. Barrels it to right center field. You see Lynn, he knows it immediately. The only thing is, does it stay in the ballpark? Yes or no? It does. Bradley Jr. now at second base with Brandon Woodruff at the plate with 1 out.
He's like if ML Carr spoke Spanish and played baseball. I mean, give him a towel and he's.
Look at him. He's searching for that hit. And look at Avisail Garcia right there, who's having a very good year as well. Just getting a day off tonight. Telling him about not cutting off, instead attacking the baseball and not letting the hit betray him. The hit flies, everything else flies with it.
1-0 to Woodruff, misses high, 2 balls and no strikes. Okay, a little bit more on the bottom of the order, Eduardo, that you talked about. The Brewers' 7 through 9 hitters tonight are averaging almost 7 pitches per plate appearance.
Making them work.
And we're only talking about 5 at-bats, but all of them are battling, and there's a strike that gets Lynn back in the count. Maybe if this were the bottom of the 6th, certainly the bottom of the 7th, Craig Counsell would think about a pinch hitter. Not only is more required of Woodruff on the mound, he can swing the bat for himself.
I think he's your best option. You have 4 right-handed hitters right now on the bench for the Milwaukee Brewers, one of them being Manny Pena, the catcher, so you don't want to use him. Custin Ura is not having a good season at all. He is your best option right now at the plate.
3 balls and a strike. Full count now.
It does feel like all of these at-bats these two guys are facing each other with, all of it is through that Mississippi State Ole Miss prism, right? Bragging rights, the whole thing.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, no respect from the outfield. They're playing shallow. They have not seen the highlight reel of what this man can do at the plate.
3rd straight full count against Lynn. Here's the 3-2 home, and it's a called strike 3. Came right after him with a fastball, and Woodruff knew it.
He's pretty upset at himself too. Watch right here. He hits that spot down. Woodruff was hoping that Dan Azonia missed it, but he did not. Knee high right there. Perfect pitch by Lance Lynn.
So now Colton Wong, who is 1 for 2 tonight. Taylor hit the 1-out triple. Bradley scored him with a double. Now 2 gone, a runner at second.
Have to be careful first pitch. How about that right there? Just holding up and good pitch selection there by Lance Lynn. Going with the cutter after Wong had taken the first 2 pitches in the first 2 at-bats. This time being more aggressive now. 0-2.
Bradley at second with a run in and 2 gone. Milwaukee finally on the board here in the last of the 5th. Lynn's longest inning of the game results in the strikeout. Swing and a miss by Wong. 2 strikeouts in the inning, but a run for the Brewers. We played 5 complete tonight. 3-1 Chicago. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule of games for the week on ESPN. Jays and Red Sox tomorrow night 7 p.m. Rays hosting the Yankees on Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then Red Sox Rays from Tampa St. Pete next Sunday, a week from tonight on Sunday Night Baseball.
I'll be there. Be there in my garage calling the game on Wednesday. I was looking at your facial expression.
Okay.
Paid.
Jose Abreu leads things off in the top of the 6th inning. Weird weekend for the Yankees, for the Nationals. As we talked kind of big picture about what's happening around the league. You wonder if this weekend pushed either one of those two teams toward seller in the upcoming trade deadline talks. Abreu, Moncada, and Vaughn here. That's out to center field. Soft serve fly ball for Jackie Bradley. Well, this is how the Red Sox and Yankees finished up today, and it took a while to get there. A 5-run 8th inning. Domingo Germán had a no-hitter deep into the ball game. Boston came all the way back. A 5-4 snatch 'em back victory to retain their top ranking in the East by plenty. A game better than Tampa, 9 games better than the Yankees. And again, Buster, you wonder at what point do the Yankees declare what they are?
Yeah, and in 2016 they were sellers, one of the rare situations in their recent history in which they've done that. And if they were to be sellers, then the question is exactly what would they be out in the market with? If they're buyers, and they have been talking with the Marlins about Starling Marte, center fielder, let's face it, when you have a deficit of 9 games, you're basically playing for the wild card. And by the way, an interesting name that I heard today, as we talk about buyers and sellers, you see the Blue Jays down to 9.5. Marcus Semien perhaps will emerge in the marketplace as an infielder available to contenders. He's had a good season with the Blue Jays.
Interesting. Who would have thought that on this date, July 25th, the Seattle Mariners, after taking 3 out of 4 from Oakland this weekend, would have a better record than the New York Yankees?
Not a lot of people, that's for sure.
Ball and 2 strikes. The count to Yoan Moncada. Got him on a called strike 3. 7 for Woodruff tonight.
Got a player that loves to work the counts and understands the strike zone really well. This one right here, that pitch is down. He knows it. Watch where it passes. Barely on the knee area right there. He wants that call to go in his favor, and you see it there from 40. It is low.
Here's Andrew Vaughn. He has grounded into a double play and been struck out tonight. 0 for 2.
And a lot of those calls, you have to give a lot of credit to Omar Narvaez, who actually, when he catches, moves up in the plate and receives baseballs a lot closer to the plate than other catchers, and it fools the umpires as well. And that's one of the big reasons why his rating numbers have gone up immensely. When he was with the White Sox, terrible numbers defensively. When he was with Seattle, again, the same thing, known for his bat, not his defense. The Milwaukee Brewers have changed that. Lets the ball travel, but he is closer to the hitter. And the first thing that they told him was, don't worry about getting hit or interference. Just receive the baseball right there. And he shows it right there to Dan Iazzogna behind the plate and gives him that call.
Ball and 2 strikes. The count to Andrew Vaughn. 2 gone, bases empty in a 3-1 game.
A lot of the credit for that, Eduardo, within the Brewers organization goes to catching instructor Charlie Green. And on top of that, when you look at the Brewers in recent years with all the success they've had, one of the common denominators between teams in recent years, they always have excellent catchers in terms of presentation on balls and strikes for umpires.
Yeah, they really do. And you see those numbers on the left, the +5, add the other +5 for Manny Pena. And when you get to +10, that equals a W, a win. -10 equals a loss. So right there, the catchers for the Milwaukee Brewers right now are winning ball games by being able to receive pitches out of the zone and presenting them as strikes.
Yeah, Woodruff and Narvaez tried to go down there once again to strike out Vaughn the same way they got Moncada. And they'll get him this time. 8 strikeouts for Brandon Woodruff tonight. 7 in a row retired by the Milwaukee right-hander. The Brewers still trailing the White Sox, however, 3-1 Chicago. Frame it up. The sausage race, and whether you've selected the bratwurst, the Polish, the kielbasa, they're all wieners to us.
You have been here before.
So bad. Hey, Play Ball is baseball and softball's initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play the game for all. Find a league near you. Go to playball.org and follow @PlayBall on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's actually a relay race tonight, and I don't even know who won.
Everybody's a wiener.
Everybody's a wiener. Right. Christian Yelich leads things off in the Brewers half of inning number 5. Yelich, Adames, and Narvaez here for Milwaukee, who finally cracked through against Lance Lynn with a solo run in the 5th. And that's sprayed to the left side for Moncada. So 1 gone for Willy Adames, who we saw earlier talking to his bat. No luck so far. He's 0 for 2. Willie's not the only Brewer to spend time talking to his bat. Here's the kiss. Some of the dialogue. The Brewers had a player here in the late 90s, a very good hitter named Jeff Cirillo, of your contemporary, who was a pretty big bat talker. And Jeff Cirillo played here at a time when the White Sox and Brewers didn't really care for one another, and when they both were American League teams.
Right there, Willy Adames just paying attention to what Avisail Garcia told him. You know, just take a pitch without your hips flying. And right there, you see how he took that pitch. He felt it. Just opened up really quick instead of being quiet with the bottom half to allow the top half to then clear.
A ball and a strike to count to Adames. Slowly hit to shortstop. Anderson's got to rush it, and he rushes it too much and yanked the throw. He's 6, and Milwaukee has a 1-out base runner.
One of the big reasons why, after you make contact, put your head down and run hard. It's exactly what Willy Adames does right here. Forces a bad throw from Tim Anderson. Takes it out of his glove, but right there, as soon as he lets it go out of his hand, that's all that Jose Abreu could do at first base. Away from his body, does the transfer, and is able to make an accurate throw over to first.
1 out, 1 on for Omar Narvaez. On the first pitch, a fly ball in the infield. And we were talking about some of the previous bad blood from past incarnations of this rivalry. Let's take you back to 1995 and a tussle at the third base bag. Jeff Cirillo kind of leans on Ozzie Guillen a little bit. Ozzie took exception. And then the bench is cleared, and it was the managers that scrapped. Terry Bevington and Phil Garner didn't really like each other. And it all came to a head on this night. Big league managers at the center of the pile.
And future big league managers there as well, as we heard about Ozzie Guillen and also Davey Martinez right in the middle of things in that fight.
That's when this rivalry was hairy. Terry Bevington used to manage in the minors for the Brewers, which kind of led to the irony. Doug Manzolino was a coach on both staffs, so he saw it from both sides.
One of Ozzie's pet peeves: do not block the bag with your base or with your leg or the body.
Well, that was, I mean, Cirillo's momentum. He just kind of fell on his leg, and Ozzie got a little squirrely on it. Nothing's changed.
He's consistent. That's what I love about Ozzie: consistency.
A ball and a strike to count to Rowdy Tellez. I believe it was the Brewers and White Sox that played on the famous Disco Demolition Night as well. Am I right about that? Two balls and a strike to count to Tellez.
That didn't go too well, did it?
No. I mean, what could go wrong? Encourage fans to bring records to the ballpark and blow them up in the middle of a doubleheader? was the White Sox and Tigers. They were the participants in that. Sounded good at the time. Up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Rowdy Tellez swinging a very effective bat. He's now 6 for 10 with 5 RBIs in the series, and the Brewers have first and second with 2 gone.
Sometimes it's about placement right here. With Rowdy Tellez, this ball leaked out over the plate. Lance Lynn got away with a cookie there to Rowdy, and he's able to get a base hit. But that's a pitch that usually Rowdy can do some serious damage with. Now runners at first and second, 2 outs for Jace Peterson.
They'll bring up the number 6 hitter, Jace Peterson. And as a reminder, it's been the bottom of the order on both sides of the scorecard that has been most effective tonight. And on the first pitch, a slow roller to the right side. That'll get Lynn out of any trouble in the 6th as he strands a pair. On to the 7th, still 3-1 Chicago.
What major leaguer did you want to emulate?
You know, my first big league game that, you know, I ever been to, I played in. So, you know, I think that's a pretty cool story.
All right, you're from Alabama. Auburn or Roll Tide?
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Don't tell Bo Jackson and Frank Thomas they'll kill me.
How would you describe a leadoff hitter's job?
Get the party started. Get the party started.
Tell me about League of Leaders.
We started this foundation, man, just targeting kids that, you know, that happen to be in any type of violence. Because, you know, on the South Side, you know, some kids have to grow up before, you know, their time. And, you know, I just try to create an environment for, you know, kids to be around me, to be happy, to put smiles on their faces and kind of, you know, just forget the struggles for a little minute and, you know, enjoy life and see how great life is and, you know, try to make them get the bigger picture.
TA, who's the most exciting player in baseball?
Me. Well, why would I say anybody else? Come on. Me, I am. I'm gonna continue to be. I'm gonna continue to be myself. I'm gonna continue to have fun, man. I'm gonna continue to enjoy the moment, and you know, man, just keep living, man, and having fun, man. Life's beautiful.
Buster catching up with White Sox All-Star shortstop Tim Anderson, who will let you know. He will let you know how good he is. That's a good play by the other shortstop, Willie Adames.
Don't forget about Rowdy at first either. What made that possible with the pick was Rowdy being able to read the spin off the ball because Willie threw it right over the top. Takes a couple steps back. You see he's thinking base hit all the way. All of a sudden, Rowdy just straddles that baseball at first base and makes a play.
1 gone to start the 7th. 12 of the last 13 retired by Brandon Woodruff.
See, when he takes a step right there, he squares up his body, but he comes straight over the top. And as a first baseman, it's the best thing you can see when an infielder throws from the top. You're going to get that true hop, even on a short hop. Easier to predict.
Here's Leury Garcia now.
Hold on, son.
You know, part of Adames' success, it's not just the metrics and being in the right spot. He has got the innate ability to move with the pitch and start his feet in the right direction more often than not. I think it's one of the more underrated aspects of a good middle infielder, knowing how the opponent is going to be pitched. And it's not cheating, it's not guessing, it's just starting your movement at the right time. And Adames is a master at that. Counts a ball and a strike to Leury Garcia. And that's lined right to Peterson. Hit it right at him. 2 gone.
Nothing you can do right there as a hitter. You did everything right. Shot right back at the third baseman.
2 gone now for the catcher, Sebi Zavala. Zavala has singled in a run and grounded back to Woodruff tonight. All three of the White Sox scores coming in the top half of the second. A single by this man and then a 2-run single by Lance Lynn. The only counterpunch by the Brewers tonight, the back-to-back extra base hits that netted a run in their half of the fifth. Taylor and Bradley. White Sox are showing a pinch hitter on deck, signaling a possible end to Lance Lynn's night. It's Jake Berger waiting next, and they've got Michael Kopech up in the bullpen. 2 out, bases empty. 0-2 the count on Seby Zavala. Still 0-2 with the bases empty. Woodruff up over 100 pitches tonight, and on his 103rd, his 9th strikeout of the ball game.
Everyone loves baseball tradition, so stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Jim Beam.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell. Terrific starting pitching is what we profiled when we went on the air tonight, and that's exactly what we've gotten from Lance Lynn and Brandon Woodruff. Lynn's night is through as he will yield to the hard-throwing right-hander Michael Kopech here in the bottom of the 7th.
See the numbers there. 14 walks on 56 strikeouts. The whip under 1 at 9.94. This man can bring it. He's got good extension. Makes it difficult for hitters when the release point is where it's at with the velocity, fastball, slider to go along with it.
Lance Lynn was outstanding on the AARP pitching summary tonight. 6 innings of work, 5 hits, allowed just the 1 earned run, and leaves as the winning pitcher of record should the bullpen hold and do its job. White Sox trying to prevent being swept on the road this weekend in Milwaukee. Tyrone Taylor has had a nice night, a triple, and he has scored the only Brewer run this evening. It's Taylor, then a couple of left-handed bats. Remains to be seen what the Brewers will do in the 9 spot, because the pitcher is due to bat 3rd here. We'll see if more is going to be asked of Brandon Woodruff or not. I know that the Brewers would love to figure out how to get Josh Hader into this game. He hasn't pitched in a while.
I think he's going to see an inning no matter what the score is this evening.
3 balls and no strikes to Tyrone Taylor. Woodruff is pretty close to his season high pitch count. He's at 103 tonight. His season high is 106. And there's a strike to get him back in the count. Now Kopech has a 3-1 count on Tyrone Taylor. Full count.
Not a pitch that you want him to be swinging at, something more down the middle. But when you have that much velocity, sometimes you find yourself as a hitter cheating on a 3-1 count. And Taylor did right there.
Full count to Tyrone Taylor. Into center field, hit it right on the screws, but Goodwin is there, 1 gone.
How about that? Right before the pitch was made, Goodwin, you saw him on the back part of the focus that we had on Kopech. moving over to the right center field area, and that ball was hit right at him right there with a 3-2 count. Talk about placement, not only within counts, but you see him where he's at on the right field side of center. Didn't have to move much to make that play.
Nothing but fastballs in that plate appearance to Tyrone Taylor. And now it's Jackie Bradley Jr. We're seeing a pinch hitter on deck for Milwaukee. So the changes are starting to play out. Avisail Garcia's on deck. And Jake Cousins is up in the bullpen for Milwaukee. I'd say Avisail Garcia's in the on-deck circle, but that wouldn't really be accurate.
True. You rarely see hitters on the on-deck circle. I don't blame him at all.
I mean, he could do an Adrian Beltre, just drag the circle under where he stands.
Well, the trick to pinch hitting, and a lot of National League veteran guys do this, is you want to get close to the action. You want to see the velocity as close as you can, so when you do step in that box, it doesn't come in as, whoa, that's what 98 looks like right now, instead of feeling like it's 108.
Kopech's 1-2 into right center field. Goodwin closing, and he can't make the catch. Bradley into second with his second double of the night.
Two really good swings by Jackie Bradley Jr. in this game. That one right there was almost caught by Brian Goodwin. He sort of stopped a couple steps before making the play. Now watch from this angle here. Brian Goodwin's got a beat on it. Then right here he hesitates and then tries to get it started again. And right there, one of the big reasons why he wasn't able to make this play. It's right off the heel of his glove.
¡Vámonos! 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 ¡Para Milwaukee!
Well, if you're wondering what he was saying in Spanish, that was not Spanish right there. All it said was vamos, vamos, vamos. And then after that, it was attaboy Jackie.
Here's Avisail Garcia, notorious first pitch swinger, as you see there graphically. It's a ball and no strikes to Garcia, pinch hitting for Woodruff. This will signal the end of the starter's night.
How about that? Kopech going with a slider because Garcia is known for that first pitch. 1-0. This is almost a must swing here for Garcia.
And I think that's the first slider he's thrown tonight. Two balls and no strikes.
Eduardo, I got to check you. Yes. I got a D+ in my last class at Vanderbilt, which was Spanish 301. Okay, so I'm not very good, but when you said he didn't say Spanish, vamos, am I wrong? Was that Spanish?
Well, the last part wasn't.
Okay, good.
That's why.
You know, that was the one thing I remembered from that class.
You did. Wow, Buster, you should have called me during that Spanish class of yours. I was probably around 12 years old, but you could have called me.
But did a lot better than I did.
3 balls and no strikes. Adames has not stopped talking. Does he know we shut his mic off?
I don't think it matters.
Maybe he got word that his error earlier, the ball that was scored as an error, was turned into a hit for him. He had originally charged Anderson with an error. And there's a 4-pitch walk issued to Avisail Garcia. Tying runs are on base with 1 away in the 7th. And here comes Ethan Katz. Garrett Crochet is up, just beginning an assignment in the Chicago bullpen.
Yeah, and Crochet most likely with the visit of Katz, they're just trying to give him some time to get ready just in case for Christian Yelich, who has struggled against left-handed pitching this season. Crochet as nasty as can be from Tennessee. Have to give him time right here. Make sure that go-ahead run now that's at the plate, they know exactly what they want to do with Colton Wong. Last night, swung at a first pitch of the game for a home run against Carlos Rodon.
Colton Wong is 1 for 3 tonight. He has singled and struck out twice. This is 3 straight innings in which the Brewers have had multiple base runners aboard. So far, they've only been able to net a single run out of these threats. Bradley and Garcia aboard with 1 away. First pitch to Colton Wong. A ball and no strikes. It's 5 straight balls from Michael Kopech. Kopech has been very good at limiting left-handed hitting. It's allowing an OPS of under 475 against left-handed batters this year. 2-0. His problem here is finding the strike zone. Two-0 to Wong is in for a strike.
Really good pitch by Kopech right there, but a good take as well by Colton Wong. That's not where he's looking. 2-0, pinholing him.
Right back to even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
How about that pitch? 83-mile-per-hour breaking pitch. Not going with the heater. A lot of respect. A lot of hitters have off the fastball. Instead goes with the curveball there. Good confidence in being able to throw it for a strike.
Does he dare double up on the curveball here or go back to the heater?
If he throws another curveball, it better be on the dirt, in the dirt.
2-2 pitch. And back to the fastball. It's fouled away. Good battle here in a big spot. Tying runs on base with 1 away, last of the 7th.
If he has a lot of trust in Zavala right here to block this pitch, what a time to throw a curveball in the dirt. He's already elevated that fastball to get him to foul off.
Three balls and 2 strikes. The full count pitch to Wong. He bounced it. Wong laid off of it. And now it's a full count.
That's a great call. Great call by Zavala. Great execution by Kopech, and even a better take by Wong. 3-2. You do not send the runners here with a swing and miss pitcher. You give Yelich an opportunity to hit with runners on.
Bradley and Garcia aboard with 1 gone. Here's the full count pitch home. And Wong hits it in the air out to shallow left. Anderson going back. Vaughn coming in. And it's Vaughn to make the catch. There are 2 away.
How about Kopech right here? Misses his spot completely. Was supposed to be away. But again, when you have that kind of velocity in your back pocket, you can get away with stuff like this. And this time, Colton Wong got beat on the fastball. He knew it. Great communication out there between Vaughn and Anderson.
Christian Yelich 0 for 3 so far tonight. Batting with first and second and 2 gone. He struck out twice against Lance Lynn. First pitch is popped up, and that's going to get out of play. Boy, if this were a couple years ago, I don't know that we'd be seeing Kopech. No. I think it'd be Garrett Crochet. You'd want a left-hander for Yelich, but Yelich has really struggled with velocity this year. He is 0 for 8 against pitches 98 plus.
And let's not forget, this is National League Baseball, pitchers hit, and Kopech's at-bat comes in, then leading off the top half of the 8th inning. If you do make a switch here, you would probably have to do a double switch to be able to bring in Crochet.
You'd be burning 2. That's a good point. 0-1 the count to Christian Yelich.
Here you go.
Michael Kopech averages 98 plus with his fastball. Last one was 98 miles an hour. He's in front of Yelich 0-2.
But when he wants to take it to another gear, and yes, there's another gear, we saw it against Colton Wong at 100.7 miles per hour.
American Family Field split down the middle tonight. Breaking ball misses low.
Really impressed with Savala back there. The sliders he's been able to straddle, keeping it in front of him. And Yelly has to be right now selling out on that fastball, staying on top of it, moving those hands way too much. Has to keep him quiet.
I'm going to lay 2-1. He goes back to the heater here. 1-2. Bounce back up the middle, right to Tim Anderson to retire the side. Kopech in and out of trouble in a scoreless last of the 7th. Trip to the Field of Dreams game August 12th with the Geico MLB at Field of Dreams Experience Sweeps. Restrictions apply. See rules and enter now at MLB.com/Field of Dreams. And maybe Shoeless Joe, pictured here, will be in attendance on August 12th.
Oh, that's beautiful. How about this?
I mean, there's so much going on right now. Not only is Shoeless Joe here, but Michael Kopech is hitting in his spot in the lineup, leading things off here in the 8th.
I'd be surprised if he takes a swing. This is probably Tony La Russa saying, I want you in for another inning, but just take 3, take 4, whatever you can do.
New pitcher for Milwaukee is Cousins. Jake Cousins, identical Cousins. He's been really good.
What just happened here?
What's that?
What just happened there?
Patty Duke show.
Oh.
Pretend like you never heard it.
Okay.
2 balls and no strikes to count to Michael Kopech. 2-1.
He really looks hitterish.
2-1.
Well, Kopech making his first career plate appearance, has gone 2+ innings in almost half of his outings this year. And I think Tony La Russa has laid out his formula. Kopech for 2, Hendricks to shut it down.
Can I go back to the Patty Duke thing? Wasn't that like a 60s show?
Yes.
Okay.
Buster, you with me?
Yes, it was. Come on, Eduardo, where were you?
He was playing baseball.
Hey, just saying. Oh, wow. He swung.
He wasn't born yet, actually.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's laughing right there at that swing, too. He almost took that right out of Omar Narvaez's mitt. Look how close it was to interference.
Ball outside.
Oh, wow.
3-2.
That's going to lower the numbers for Narvaez. That ball's a strike right there. Dan Arzanya giving the hitterish Kopech the benefit of the doubt.
Full count pitch. Chopper to the right side of the infield. Kopech hasn't yet gotten in your picture. There he is. There's one gone. Yeah, Michael doesn't really even have much of his own hitter's gear. He was wearing Danny Mendick's helmet. Who knows whose bat he was using? I would not think the White Sox would pack a couple dozen Michael Kopech model Louisville Sluggers, because I don't think they exist.
I'm just really surprised that Tony La Russa allowed him to swing the bat. A lot of managers are just like, stand out there. We'll take the out. We'll trade the out for the 2 runs and the goose egg in the next inning.
One gone for the top of the order, Tim Anderson. Slider way off the plate. Hey, a quick reminder, tomorrow our ESPN Plus matchup. First game of a 4-game set with these White Sox and the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Dallas Keuchel and Mike Minor. Good pitching matchup tomorrow. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. To get ESPN Plus, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. And it's 0-2 to Tim Anderson, batting with 1 gone and the base is empty. By the way, just to pay off Jake Cousins, really good line for him. Had some save opportunities in the minors this year. Good numbers at AA Biloxi. Good numbers at AAA Nashville. It's a non-roster invitee.
1-2.
And he pitched last year in Chicago with the independent Chicago Dogs. And there's a base hit to left. Anderson aboard for the first time in the series. That snaps an 0 for 11 in Milwaukee for Tim.
Dearest burger joints, our royal fryness, thanks for keeping your cool when the kitchen is not. We promise to serve you with the respect you deserve.
One out, one on, and that's the first Chicago base runner since the top half of inning number 4. So that'll bring back Gavin Sheets, 1 for 3 tonight. You know, getting back to the trade talks, and I think of this because as we start to profile the Milwaukee bullpen, with their dominant 3 starters and the rest of their very capable staff, I think it's pretty clear come postseason time that the Adrian Hausers of the world and the rest of the very good starting pitchers here might be rolled into bullpen roles, right? So I don't know that the Brewers will be shopping for a bullpen piece the way the White Sox might. But Buster, let's play some name games here.
I'm ready.
The Cubs, also relevant in this conversation, certainly geographically, seem to have a lot of pieces that people would be interested in.
Yeah, they are the buffet table for all the contenders. And if you start with Craig Kimbrell, their closer, he probably is the guy generating the highest volume of interest among all of the potential guys who are going to be traded. We know that the Boston Red Sox have some interest. We know that the Houston Astros have some interest. If I'm guessing a team, you know what? How about the Los Angeles Dodgers? For several reasons. A, they could use some more depth. And they've had this issue with Kenley Jansen last week. You acquire Craig Kimbrell, you might solve a problem.
All those destinations make a lot of sense. I'd throw the Phillies in there as well. They've been looking for bullpen help for the better part of the last 3 years. And, you know, they've stated that they're going to push in. Dave Dombrowski saying we're buyers. We're going to add.
Well, they're 49-49 right now, just 4 games behind the New York Mets, a team that's looking for starting pitching. They made that trade for Hill.
What about somebody like Andrew Chafin with the Cubs?
Yeah,
Buster?
And look, you're right that there's some teams that need bullpen help. Other teams need less bullpen help. The Brewers perhaps in that category. But I really think that a lot of the flurry of activity that we're going to see on Thursday and Friday is going to be relievers. In the last second, teams grabbing a reliever.
0-2 pitch to Sheets is lined into the opposite field. Yelich has got it. And there are 2 away. What about some of the big ticket hitters? I mean, you know, they've been writing Trevor Story's Denver epitaph for the last number of months. Where does he land?
So what I've heard is that for many weeks, the Rockies front office had not convinced the Rockies ownership that it was time to trade Trevor Story. But there's been some traction in recent weeks on that. Interestingly, we mentioned before that the Padres had internal talks about adding Story, putting him in center field. There have been some conversations about whether the White Sox would want to bring him in, maybe put him at second base. Maybe the Mets would bring him in. He could play shortstop till Francisco Lindor came back and then moved to third base after that.
Here's Jose Abreu with a man on, and he takes a strike. Abreu's been held quiet tonight, struck out, grounded into a double play, and flied to center. Anderson still at first after the 1-out single. 3-1 White Sox, top of the 8th. A rare chase and a bad one by Abreu to put him behind 0-2.
Pat, I'll run through some other names real quick for you. I think Anthony Rizzo is going to wind up with the Boston Red Sox. I think the Mets are going to wind up with one of 3 guys: Chris Bryant, or Trevor Story, or Javier Baez. I think Tyler Anderson, who's going to be traded by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets potentially could be a fit there. San Diego Padres also out in the marketplace looking for a starting pitcher.
Wow, one of those big ticket Cubs going to the Mets. And now we're talking about blockbusters coming in the next week. 0-2 the count to Jose Abreu. Fought that one off the hands.
I just feel psychologically a lot of these teams, players that are in those dugouts and in the clubhouses, if their team is in contention and the organization does not make a move, sort of like a letdown.
Yeah.
You look at the trade deadline coming down to the final moment, you're like, we didn't make a move, we didn't get any better.
Didn't the White Sox do that in '97? Within 2.5 games of the top of the division. It was the White Sox and Brewers. They were both in the American League at the time. Yeah. And one of them failed to add. I want to say it was Chicago. And to your point, you feel the clubhouse just kind of sink.
It happens. It's real.
Referred to, I believe, as the white flag White Sox when they traded away Wilson Alvarez and Danny Darwin. I think I got the date right, 97. Anderson runs and Abreu fouls it off.
Yeah, and I think an example of that right now would be the Red Sox players, because they saw Tampa Bay go out and make that big deal for Nelson Cruz to get that one hitter who's absolutely perfect in the middle of their lineup, and they're having a great season. They know they got Chris Sale coming back. He looks tremendous, but they could use some bullpen help, and they could use some help at first base. Anthony Rizzo checks every box. He's a left-handed hitter, which they need. He would help the defense. He would help the pitching. And you know that his heart rate in October would be 60 instead of 160.
Still 0-2 to Jose Abreu. When Milwaukee bats in the bottom of the 8th, they'll have Adames, Narvaez, and Perez. 3, 4, 5 part of the Brewers lineup card.
Well, the White Sox tomorrow, they'll be adding a big piece of offense to their lineup. You end up with Eloy Jimenez coming back tomorrow playing left field, as Tony La Russa said, and it all depends on the temperature and the weather if he plays all 9 or maybe just 6 or 7 innings.
Abreu swings and sends a mighty blast out to left center field. Caught at the wall by Bradley. Oh, wow. So much for the hitter's conditions.
I really thought this is the moment we were going to hear, "Ay, Santa Maria," and we did not go there.
Thought that was going to be up into the restaurant. A well-hit loud out to keep it 3-1 Pailhose. Michael Kopech continues, bottom of the 8th inning, a 3-1 White Sox lead. Adames, Narvaez, and Tellez, and some changes defensively for the White Sox in the outfield, which kind of leads you to scratch your head a bit as to Kopech batting in his own spot in the order. First pitch to Adames misses up and in. Billy Hamilton takes over in center, and that moves Brian Goodwin to right. Gavin Sheets is the player that rotates out for Chicago. Unusual.
Yeah, very unusual, and that's why I was surprised when we saw Michael Kopech again come in and hit for himself. If you bring him in, you actually want to double switch, and actually what you wanted to do is double switch Andrew Vaughn more than anything. You have the lead. I played for Tony La Russa. I know how he deals with his defense. And it surprised me that it was just a straight up move. And then allowing Kopech to hit, thought we were going to see a pinch hitter and see Crochet come in the game. Instead, Gavin Sheets is now out of the game, and you have Billy Hamilton in center field.
2 balls and a strike to Willy Adames.
Yeah, Eduardo, if I were a beat reporter covering the team, one of the questions I would ask after the game is, how about when you bring Kopech into the game, let Hamilton hit in the 9 spot, and then you put Kopech in the spot of either Goodwin or perhaps Vaughn? Or perhaps
Vaughn would have been the indicator. You want a Goodwin still because you want your best defense out there. And Goodwin provides that better defense. You don't want to take good defense out for a double switch when you have the lead. But Andrew Vaughn, let's face it, so far he's held his own in left field, and I think Tony La Russa has seen the job that Daryl Boston's done with him out there and is now confident that he can play all 9.
Full count meanwhile to Willy Adames, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just a run on 7 hits for Milwaukee tonight. 3 of those 7 hits have gone for extra bases. Only 1 run on the scoreboard. Full count pitch. And he loses a leadoff hitter on ball 4. Willy Adames has worn a microphone for us tonight, and he was most happy over an official scorer's decision change in the bottom of the 6th.
Si ese me lo dieron hit, tenía desde el otro domingo que no da un hit. Diablo, mira, me lo dieron error. Ay, me lo dieron hit. Ay, qué lindo. Mangueto. Ay, qué tabla.
He's a beauty.
Oh, man, he's fun to watch and listen to. That's going to be all for Michael Kopech. Could it be that Tony La Russa is going to ask for 6 outs from his closer? Liam Hendricks on his way into the ballgame. A pitching change, and we'll be right back. Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Big crowd in Milwaukee in a 2-run game, and some very non-textbook moves for the White Sox. Liam Hendricks is out. He has been great this year, an all-star in 2021. There's a man on with nobody out in the 8th in a 2-run game. And Hendricks is being called on for yeoman's duty tonight if, in fact, he gets the final 2 innings. He has 1 career 6-out save. It came earlier this season, July 6th, specifically at Minnesota. Last year's postseason as an A against the White Sox, had a 3-inning appearance.
And I think there's a lot of confusion going on right here with what Tony La Russa has done, bringing in his closer. He thinks this is the best opportunity. Yet you have Crochet, who is ready in the bullpen as well because he was up last inning. You have 3 left-handed hitters coming up in a row with Narvaez, Rowdy Tellez, and Jace Peterson. Yes, you have right-handed hitters on the bench, but I'll take my chance with Keston Hiura, Rios, or Pena, or Manny Pena, that is left on the bench. They've already used Avisail Garcia, their best power-hitting right-handed bat. This is the prime moment to actually bring in the lefty and force the Milwaukee Brewers to go to their bench if need be.
You know, we had a feeling we were going to see Hendricks tonight. Hasn't pitched since the 20th, but I don't think we saw this kind of an outing coming. He does strike out Narvaez.
Yeah, and granted, he could come in and strike out the side. That's fine, but he's only done the 6 outs once. And you had mentioned it earlier this year. So to be able to ask him to do it right here, you're asking a lot from a 1-inning type guy that you know that you need for an entire season. This is one of the reasons why Tony La Russa may be sending a message to the front office saying we need that setup guy, that big money thrower to get to the bridge, to be the bridge to get to this man on the mound.
Here's Rowdy Tellez now with a man on and 1 away. Tellez has a single tonight. He's been hot this series, 6 for 10. And Hendricks is going to get him on 1 pitch. Moncada makes the catch, 2 away.
That's huge right there. That's the 3rd pop-up this evening to the 3rd baseman from Rowdy Tellez. 1 for 4 on the evening. First pitch. Again, all evening long. That's where they've been pitching him right there, up and in. Hasn't been able to get that bat head out. The only time they missed and the ball went out over the plate was that base hit he had in the 6th inning.
Nobody's going to bemoan a 6-out save opportunity if the first 3 outs from Hendricks can come within, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 pitches. And there's strike 1 to Jace Peterson. Peterson's hitless tonight, 0 for 3. The Brewers bullpen is busy. We talked about Josh Hader not having appeared in quite a while. He's up with Brad Boxberger. Well, Peterson would love to have that pass back. He's behind 1 and 2 now. It's a split house. A lot of White Sox fans. Got him. Pitches is all it took for Liam Hendricks to record 3 outs and strand a base runner.
You want emotion in the game of baseball? Liam Hendricks will provide it.
Ozzy, right Ozzy, Ozzy, oi, oi, oi. A 3-1 White Sox lead on the Geico game track tonight. Chicago got all 3 of their runs in the top of the 2nd inning against Brandon Woodruff. An RBI single by Sebi Zavala. 2-run single by Lance Lynn. His first RBIs since 2015. Woodruff was great, and so was Lance Lynn. And I'm not quite sure what Billy Hamilton's doing, but he's having fun.
That's what happens when you're winning ball games.
I mean, I've heard of putting your foot in the bucket, but there's Brad Boxberger on to work the 9th inning for the Brewers. Last pitched on Friday. A scoreless 7th inning, and the Brewers win. And he'll get you on Moncada to lead it off. Moncada, Vaughn, and Goodwin for the White Sox. Moncada has singled and struck out twice tonight. A ball and 2 strikes. Brad Boxberger has been very stingy against left-handed bats. The switch hitter Moncada in from the left side. Boxberger's allowed a slugging percentage of just 176 against left-handed hitting this year. Two balls and two strikes. Got him swinging. Time for tonight's Corona Premier Moment. And they all belong to Lance Lynn. Here's one on the offensive side of the scorecard. His 2-run, 2-out single making it 3-0. And then on the mound, picking up right where he's left off all season long and in line for his 10th win of the year tonight.
And that cutter was on this evening. The 4-seam fastball, the 2-seamer, and the changeup. He wasn't messing around with it. Sometimes took some off the cutter that appeared to be like a slider. Lance Lynn definitely had his stuff going.
One out for Andrew Vaughn, who's behind 0-1. And Vaughn sends the ball well hit to left. Yelich is on the run. He'll play it off the base of the wall. A 1-out double in the White Sox half of the ninth.
Quiet with his feet and thunderous with his hands. Andrew Vaughn right here giving you another quiet swing. Watch his leg kick, puts that foot down, recognizes the pitch, and is able just to barrel it off the Chevy sign in left center field. That's nice. This kid's going to rake for quite some time.
White Sox have their first runner in scoring position since the top of the second inning. And now an opportunity for Brian Goodwin. I remember talking to White Sox hitting coach Frank Menachino about Andrew Vaughn in the spring, when the discussion was, wow, this kid can really hit. Where's he going to play? And this was at the time when Eloy Jimenez was healthy. He was described then as being really raw out of college, got by on ability, but he's learned how to control his body to the degree that he was drawing comparisons to Jim Thome in spring training this year.
Does wear the same number, doesn't he?
And what's fouled back, it's 0-2. Did Jimmy wear 25 all with the White Sox? I think you're right.
I have a thing for numbers, so I just go with it. Didn't look it up or anything, but I just picture Tony with 25. And another thing is this: that Tony La Russa, managing the team, understands how to be able to manage players that maybe they don't feel comfortable in the position that they're playing, but good coaches make those players feel comfortable where they're at. Darryl Boston doing a nice job with them. Tony La Russa has done this in the past with Albert Pujols when he made the team with the St. Louis Cardinals out of spring training. Had a great spring training. Bobby Bonilla gets hurt, and all of a sudden Albert Pujols finds himself in left field. Then they move him over to third base until establishing himself at first base. But at the end of the day, the bat will do the talking early on in his career.
Two balls and two strikes.
Remember when Vaughn made the team this year out of spring training, he did not play opening day in left field.
That's right.
It was Lodi Garcia who played in left field opening day, and a lot of people were asking then, why is he on the team? Well, we found out later.
And the 2-2 is swung on and missed. Two gone for Boxberger in the ninth. Let's give you one last look at the upcoming schedule on ESPN. Some great Major League Baseball action from the AL East. Blue Jays and Red Sox tomorrow. Yankees, Rays Wednesday. And then Sunday Night Baseball the week from tonight. From Tampa, St. Pete, the Red Sox and Braves. Two top dogs in the division. Two away with Vaughn still at second. And here is the aforementioned Leury Garcia. He has singled, walked, and lined out on a hard hit ball to third. The Brewers in the bottom of the ninth at the bottom of their order. It's been a productive bottom of the order tonight, but they'll have 3 outs left to try to catch up on a 2-run deficit tonight. Garcia sends a fly ball out toward left. Yelich is on the run, still on the move in foul territory, puts it away to retire the side. Last licks for the home side. White Sox still on top by 2. Liam Hendricks back to work to try to close it down. Needed only 9 pitches to finish the 8th.
Antonio Russo brings in the man that he trusts the most. Gets a strikeout, gets the pop up to third baseman Yohan Moncada, and then the breaking pitch to strike him out, and the energy right there from Liam Hendricks finishing off the 8th inning, knowing that he's 3 outs away from a victory.
We'll note once again on his one career 6-out save, came earlier this month, and here we go in the last of the 9th. Taylor, Bradley, and then a pinch hitter for Milwaukee. Well, the Brewers have had their opportunities. They've stranded at least 1 base runner in each of the last 4 innings. They stranded 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Just 3 for 13 with men on base tonight, and it's a ball and a strike now to Tyrone Taylor.
Old-timer type baseball right there. You're down 2. You want base runners, usually they gave you the take sign. Now, because of so much velocity and already data with Hendricks and a lot of other pitchers, they're like, go ahead, swing, because most likely he's not going to walk you.
2 balls and a strike.
I love it. I love the PUD as well.
Yeah. Three balls and a strike. The closer's mentality, right? We saw Hendricks finish off the 8th on 9 pitches. He exploded off the mound and into the dugout, reacting. There's another inning to pitch, right? It's a whole different animal when a closer is called on for multiple innings. Peterson has a base hit. I mean, Taylor, beg your pardon, has a base hit. And Tyrone's aboard. That'll bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th.
Tell you what, Tyrone Taylor's looking really good at the plate. Past 2 games, 2 home runs, including a grand slam here, a triple, and now a base hit to bring the tying run to the plate, and that of Jackie Bradley Jr., who already has 2 doubles in this game.
Tyrone Taylor down 10 for his last 22, and here's Bradley. On the first pitch, a fly ball into center field. Immediately following the Brewers and White Sox, Sports Center with Bucci and Eaves. They'll talk live with the star player from this matchup, plus the Yankees blow another late lead, how Boston overcame a 4-0 deficit, and U.S. men's basketball off to a rough start in Tokyo at the Olympic Games. Sports Center with Bucci and Eaves after the White Sox and Brewers on ESPN and on the ESPN app. Luis Urias is the pinch hitter here, representing the tying run with 1 out, 1 on, last of the 9th. Urias has heated up and takes strike 1. He leads the Brewers in runs scored and extra base hits. Ranks 2nd on the team in homers and runs batted in. Craig Counsell had some pretty good right-handed hitting options on the bench tonight. He used Garcia in the 7th, and he uses Urias here in the 8th, in the 9th rather. 0-2.
Joey Hamilton playing a shallow center field. He can cover some ground out there.
And it's a 3-pitch strikeout.
This man loves the pitch, and right there started him off with a slider. After that, the swing and miss fastball. And this one out of the zone. Urias, no chance as that ball was by him before he realized it was out of the zone.
Hendricks trying to save it for Lance Lynn, who was terrific through 6. Runner goes, and it's a foul ball at the plate. 0-1 the count to Colton Wong.
Liam having a little fun out there.
Yeah, this one hits Colton in the foot while he's still in the batter's box. Right there. Brushes up against the pad.
How about this with the Brewers? 5 of the 7 hitters that he's faced here in this game have swung at the first pitch.
Taylor runs, and it's a fly ball into shallow center field that should do it. Hamilton's got it, and the White Sox are able to stave off the sweep this weekend by taking the finale of the series, a pitching and defense game, 3-1 Pale Hose.
How about that? It was Lance Lynn's bat, the difference maker in this one. Not only his arm, but the bat, and then the defense for the White Sox coming in right there with Liam Hendricks closing it out.
You got to go back to 2006 to find the last time a White Sox pitcher had multiple RBIs and a win. John Garland 15 years ago. Lance Lynn the winner tonight, in a great night for the White Sox. 3-1 the final score. For Eduardo, Perez, and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian, thanks for joining us. See you next week. Sports Center is next.